What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and wow, has it been a scary morning on TSNP. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you were probably prepared for this and were able to take advantage of it, but my goodness, I mean, this was a crazy sell-off that we experienced. It opened up at 29 cents, which I think was significantly higher than it closed, closed at like 26 something. And then from there, it panicked all the way down, had some bounces, and panicked all the way down to 16 cents, from 29 cents to 16 cents, which is over a 40% drop. And if you're someone who has a ton of this in your long-term portfolio, like, that type of drop really hurts. And I feel sorry for you guys because I feel like there's people out there who are not willing to accept the price action that this stock displays. I've been talking about this in videos for a long time now, and if you've been watching my channel, you probably know that already. But this stock has a really big tendency to tank very quickly and then have really nice bounces. I made money on this stock. I dip bought it on the first tank, and I made some money there. It tanked again a little lower, and I dip bought it there. It tanked a little lower, and I dip bought it a little bit too soon and had to cut out and missed the biggest bounce. But it is, I mean, it's such a predictable pattern, bro. I don't know how else to describe it. So if you held through a 40% drop and watched your portfolio disappear, and you have, $100,000 in there and it's all in this stock, I really feel sorry for you because most of us knew this was coming. So I overnighted my shares last night because I expected it to gap up on, the earnings call, and it did that. And I actually had Active Trader Pro crash, but I was able to get out just in time because I knew what to expect. I saw the sellers coming in. I saw it start to whack away at 29, and I got out at 29 right before it tanked. And I actually have some live footage, live screen recordings of my dip buys today because to me, I feel like that is the most consistent way to make money on the stock. A lot of people don't understand this, but being optimistic about the future of a stock and also being skeptical about the current price action, those two things are not mutually exclusive. So you can do both at the same time. I think this stock long-term is gonna be a really good investment, but I also have zero intention of holding through days where there's a 40% drop when I could sell at the top and then rebuy back in with the same amount of money and get more shares. I feel like it's simple logic. And I'm sure there's people who are gonna be upset at me for making this video because they wanna hold long-term, and they're the type of people who hold through those drops, and they're offended that other people would take advantage of them instead of getting wrecked by them. But if you're one of those people, just reconsider. Know that this stock has a history of dropping in the morning big and then bouncing big. So if you know that, if you sell before it drops and buy after it drops, that's like an instant increase in your portfolio. And it's consistent, man. It did it today, it did it yesterday, it did it the day before that, and it did a bunch of times last week. So if you're not taking advantage of that and you're just holding through all these dips, to me, that's on you. And I know there's people who have, ridiculous size in this. We had a guy comment yesterday who said he bought like 3.8 million shares at 0.0001. And I mean, good on him, because I wish I'd known to do that. But at this point, like, it's up a lot. And based on what the CEO told us in the call yesterday, there's still a long road ahead before this company gets really big. And it could take a couple of years. And if you look at the insane increase in price over the last, month, over 50,000%, like, is that justifiable based on where the company is in this very moment? I would say probably not. So we have to be careful and know that, like, yes, long term this stock is probably going up, but it could see a lot of price fluctuations in the meantime. And if we can predict those accurately, to me, it makes more sense to sell when you know it's going down and buy at the bottom versus holding through that. So that's just my logic on it. Now I'm gonna dive in and show you guys the live trade that I made. Well, I guess there's two trades. I'm not sure if I recorded the third one, but I'll explain it to you, and I'll explain where I went wrong on it and how you could have done it better than me. Because I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still learning. Trading is definitely one of those skills that takes a long time to master. I'm not a master by any means, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. So hopefully I can share my insights with you guys and make a big difference. Remember to like this video if you're finding this helpful, if you're finding my insight helpful, and subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that jazz. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys, so now I'm here at my computer. Hopefully you can see it. And yeah, so here's what the daily chart is looking like. I guess the 1 minute candles. I think daily chart is when each candle is a day. But if you look at today on the chart, it opened up. If we go to the 2 days, actually, you can see a little better. So it closed here in the 26s, right below 27, like high 26s, and then it ended up gapping up. But as soon as it opened, you can see here, it just started hitting some selling, some more selling. I think I actually ended up selling out at 28, which was right where I got in yesterday. So I'll actually go show you that real quick, just so you guys can see. So at this point, I had to leave midday. But if you look at this chart right here, like, generally speaking, it's uptrending. It's having higher lows and it's having higher highs in general. It was holding this very nicely. It was holding this very nicely. Had some consolidation during the midday, which is very typical of stocks. And then once it broke out over this high, I entered right here at like 28, and it ended up going pretty nicely immediately. I mean, within a couple of minutes, it was already up above 29. So I was feeling pretty good about it. But then I actually had to leave, and I couldn't watch this. So when it cracked down under that, when it cracked down under that at the end of the day, once it cracked below 29 and then cracked below 28, it was looking kind of ugly at the end of the day. But at that point, I wasn't by my computer, so I couldn't sell out. And for whatever reason, Fidelity won't let me have a stop loss on this particular stock. I don't know if it's all OTCs, but it seems pretty stupid to me. But anyways, it didn't let me. So at this point, like, I was overnight long, and I figured still I would be all right because I think, it's going to gap up because of the investor call, and I was correct on that. But when I saw that weakness at open, I got out, man, and I got out quick. I got out literally right where I got in. I got out at 28 or 27.99. So I think I lost like 15 cents or something. But overall, yeah, I mean, I saw it coming, and the reason is, if you go back, like, let's look at the 5-day chart. What has this stock done pretty much every morning? Let's look at this morning. Wow, a massive panic and then a big bounce. Well, what do you know? Who's been talking about that? Let's go to yesterday. A big panic and a big bounce. Wow, would you look at that? I wonder what's going to happen today if there's a big panic. Well, let's look. There's a big panic and there was a pretty big bounce. So in this case, I knew the panic was probably going to happen once I saw it starting. It's pretty easy to tell. Like, if you get on, the market opens and there's a ton of red prints and it starts cracking those psychological whole numbers, 0.28, 0.29, 0.27, it's probably going to keep going. And if that happens, like, you want to get out early so you can get back in. Because if you try to cut like here, you're probably going to cut and then be below where it would bounce from. But if you cut early, then you can get back in a way better position. So I ended up buying it right around here. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good trade. I bought it here. I ended up selling here. I have screen recordings of that. I guess I'll probably go into that. And then if you zoom out here, I guess let's go to just today. So I ended up selling, in here because it was looking weak and it couldn't make it back above where it opened at. And then it came down, went a little bit lower, and I was like, you know what? I don't think this panic. No, it's right here. Yeah, I don't think this panic is quite enough to buy the dip because I did see it bouncing right here. But when it made a lower low and then started to bounce again, I bought it there too, and I ended up selling, around in here. So I made more money on that one. But then when it kept going down, kept going down, I ended up getting in right in here because it looked like it was bouncing, and then it ended up tanking through that. And again, I wish I had more money, but because I'm not over 25,000 in my Roth IRA yet, I don't have enough to make as many day trades as I want. So I ran out of buying power and I couldn't buy back in at this bottom here because it double bottomed at 16, and that was such an easy buy. So hopefully if you guys were watching this, like, you know, hopefully you read it as easily as I did. I just wish I had the buying power to do it, but it double bottomed there and then went on a nice run all the way up to above 22. So I mean, 16 to 22, I don't know what that is in percentage, but I mean, if you get in with 10,000 shares, 20,000 shares, 50,000, like that is a nice gain. That is a nice gain. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of this. Right now it's looking kind of ugly. It's having some lower lows. Looks like it's trying to break through that, but it's not able to. Looks like it's holding this pretty well, but if this breaks down, if this support breaks down, it's probably gonna go and retest these lows, I would imagine. But if it's able to bounce above and push, you know, it could go back up. So we'll see. At this point, I don't know, but I don't have any more buying power, so I'm just gonna hope that it doesn't, you know, skyrocket the rest of today, and it waits until I can buy more into it, because this stock is pretty textbook, man. It's easy to read like a book. So yeah, I guess I'll show you guys my live trades. All right, guys. So here's the live recording of my trade that I made, and right now it's in the middle of the panic, and you can see here. I mean, look at all these red prints, absolutely breaking down. Just broke through 0.25 psychological support like it was nothing. Continuing on down, we see some green prints, but overall, like, massive red prints. It's just mostly red. Some green in there, but not enough. Still breaking down. I have this set on 2x speed, by the way, just so you guys don't have to wait as long. So I'm thinking, where's the bottom going to be and where do I want to get in? At this point, I don't know how far it could go. There goes 23. You see it printing a ton. It's going to break at this point. Already printing 22. I mean, golly. If you're holding this, almost a 21. That's crazy, man. If you're holding this, I mean, this is scary. This is horrible. Like, you're losing, it's down 20% on the day. You're losing a ton of your money. But we can see here, we're starting to see some more green prints, and I'm thinking, all right, at this point, if it starts to uptick significantly more, I'm gonna get in. And there it does. I put it for 23, but I mean, I was a little late, and I placed the order when it was at 22, and I didn't get in until basically 23. But you can see the stock, I mean, is already above that. There's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of resistance here, so I'm like, all right, got to get my sell order ready just in case, because if you dip by and then it keeps tanking, you got to cut and get out quickly, because you don't know how far it can drop. You really have no idea, especially on a scary day like today. It could keep tanking all day long, but luckily, you can see at this point it's continuing on up. Definitely seen some red in there, but it's not super ugly. Like, it's just kind of choppy at this point. Seeing some more green come in. I'm just, you know, I'm waiting to see what it does, because I'm already profitable. And that's the good thing about timing it well. You're profitable on the trade from the beginning, so you're not like sitting in losses and watching them grow. You know, you're sitting in profits. We see 24 printing hard, which means it's going to break through, especially when there's this much volume, which is nice. Like, if you see it print, it's almost for sure going to break through if you see a ton of prints. And it doesn't really matter how much support is there, which is kind of crazy. Because, I mean, I watched it break through some ridiculous support today. At 20, it had like 2 million shares. I'll show you that in a second. And it just broke through back when it was breaking down a little bit more. You can see it's still going up 0.249, almost to 25 at this point. And I mean, I didn't go in big, guys. I only got 10,000 shares. So like, if you have more conviction on this, like, you can go in bigger. If you have more buying power, you can go in bigger. I can't go in that big, because if I go in big and then I have to get out, like, I can't go back in for days, because of, you know, it's just how it works. So at this point, I'm up $252 on the trade, which is nice. Like, I mean, it's a nice bounce, and it does this every single day pretty much. If there's a big tank, there's a big bounce, and it doesn't tank every day. Some days it skyrockets at open, but you know, you got to look for that, and it's very obvious from market open what it's going to do. If it skyrockets, like, you want to take a part of that move, but if it tanks, you don't want to be holding that. At this point, I'm thinking, like, is it going to break 26? I don't know if it's going to break 26. I'm not sure. I see it down ticking a little. Might want to start taking my profits just to be safe. Up 283, 290 on the day. Can they take it out? I'm not sure. Still see a lot of green, but, you know, there's a hidden seller who's just eating up all those green. And now down ticks a little more. So I'm thinking, all right, I think I'm gonna take half off the table and let the rest run, see what it does. I guess I end up holding there. I think I do end up taking half off the table, but that's normally something that I do. So like if I'm up on a position, I talked about this in my previous live trade video, but if you're up on a position, you want to take some of the profits if it's showing signs of weakness, because you want to make sure that you don't end up losing on the trade. So yeah, I think I changed my mind and ended up deciding to sell half of it just because I think it can run a little bit more. So I take half there in case it breaks under 25. I'm pretty sure. It's one of those things where you're like, you're right on the edge of it, because it could go either way. It's definitely very choppy right now. But it prints 26, which is a good sign. Boom. As soon as it does it, it breaks up through it. I'm honestly not sure why I didn't decide to sell half there. I guess I thought I could bounce a little bit more. And I was looking to see, again, same level here. I was looking to see if it went red-green on the day, because that's normally a big level. If it goes red-green, it's generally a good sign that it's going up. But if it goes above for a little bit and then goes back down, it's generally a bad sign. So at this point, I'm taking some profits off the table. I'm thinking I want to make sure that, yeah, there was a big, there was some big support there, but it's being taken out. So I want to make sure that I lock that in. I think that's my thought process here. Yeah, that it is. And you see I got filled at 0.2649, which I mean was pretty dang good. So just locking in profits. I think that's the main thing on this. I don't want to make you guys watch this whole thing, but you know, this is that trade. I had another one. So this was, you know, after it came back down a little bit, but it's not past the bottoms yet, and I'm not sure, you know, because if it fake bounces like and continues on below, it's gonna crack pretty quickly. So I wanted to make sure that wasn't happening here, and it didn't have enough buying action for me to be, you know, really comfortable with it, if that makes sense. So I almost bought some. You see it bounce a little bit off of 23. It bounces a little bit, but I decided not to get in here, which ended up being a good thing, because overall, it decided to keep going down. So this is what it looked like. You know, it just completely rejected that bounce, and it's gonna end up breaking below this. It's gonna end up breaking below, well, I guess I skipped that there, but I forgot to open this in, the video player, VNC, where you can actually go × 2. But you can see there's just a ton of red prints. This is what it looks like live speed. But I mean, a lot of big selling, hit 22, tons of, I mean, 492,000 shares sold. Like, you know, that's breaking 22 at that point. Like, it doesn't really matter what this says. Doesn't really matter. And I don't even have level 2 on Fidelity again. So if you have level 2, it's somewhat of an advantage. But when there's this much volume, like, no matter how much support is there, it can crack that. And now it looks like it's breaking below. So this is probably going to 21 at this point. So I'm thinking, where is the support going to be? And it looks like, you know, it's around 21, which is where that green candle is. So it might happen at 21, might happen at 20. So I'm looking to see where the bounce is going to be. That's a 5-minute chart. There we go. So I'm looking to buy another 10,000 shares on this dip, because if it dips but then comes back up, you know, it's another profitable trade. So I'm thinking, where is this going to bounce? I'm seeing some green prints, but still going down overall. Lots of selling. Bam, hits 21. It's gonna break 21. It's printing heavy. You see all this support, 500,000, getting eaten up, 400,000, 260,000. That's generally not a good sign. That generally means that it's gonna crack below. 140,000, 100,000, 7,000. Looks like there's a hidden buyer, but oof, it's right on the edge. So you gotta be careful because this could crack below 21. You don't wanna get in too early. There we go, crack below 21, 0.2099. Suddenly now it's down under. And bam, just like that, it goes. So hopefully this price action is helpful for you guys to, to hear my thoughts on it. Starting to see some green. I'm thinking this is below. Where is it gonna bottom? Is it gonna bounce off of 20? Could definitely bounce off of 20. Massive buyer come in there, 425,000. I'm thinking that is a very good sign. Then you see 100,000 buyer, boom, 50,000 buyer. I'm like, all right, it's time. It's starting to get more excited, ticks up, yep, and now I'm in. I placed the order at least. Let's see if I got executed. So I'm not executed yet. You can see I placed the order for 22, and because of that, I was able to get in. But if I had placed it for 21, I probably wouldn't have gotten in. So again, just make sure that when you're dip buying, you place the order slightly above. Give yourself that wiggle room because it bounces really quickly when it bounces. But ultimately, what let me know that this one was gonna bounce was that massive buyer. You saw that like almost 500,000 share buyer. Like that's a really good sign. Then 100,000 came in right after that. Those big green prints, they tell you that it's likely bottoming there. So again, now I'm up on my position, up $80 at this point, so not huge. But I'm not sure, I'm not sure where this bounce can go. It might get rejected here at that same level, and if it does, like that is a very good sign I need to get out quickly. So I'm seeing what it's gonna do. But again, the nice thing is I'm already up on the trade because I got in at a good level. So if you chase these bounces and you end up getting in here, or you end up getting in here, like you're setting yourself up for failure. So I don't like chasing bounces in general. I like to, get in right at the beginning of the bounce. And if I have to cut, that's fine. I'll just get back in later. So that's my favorite strategy, honestly, guys. And at this point, I don't want to, there's another 18 minutes to this video, but you can see it keeps bouncing on up, But I don't know if it can make it past this, so I end up taking some profits. Looks like it might be double topping there. Ends up rejecting. So I sold half. And then when I see 23 breaking, I sell the other half. Or no, I sell a quarter and I wait to see where it's gonna bounce. Yeah. And then I sell the other quarter right there. When I see that reject. At least I try to. So yeah, ultimately, hopefully that helps you guys a little bit, and then I guess I'll go into the last one I might as well. So this is the last trade. This is where I got, what is the word? I guess flipped it. I don't know. I got in a little bit too early, so you can see it tanking. Oh, I do have it for 20. Yeah. So I mean, look, it's already down 25% of the day. It's trying to defend 20. They don't want it to print 20, but there it goes. Look at that, 2 million buyers, just getting eaten up, man. Oh my God, look at all those, down to 600,000, and just like that, it's under 20. And I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy. And honestly, this was on me because if it breaks through 20, such a huge support level like 20, it's probably gonna run a little further than, 19. So this was on me, just, being greedy. I already had hit two dip buys out of the park, so I wanted to get the third one and, be 3 for 3 on the day, and I didn't have the patience. And that's something that you need to learn as a trader. So I end up getting in too early here. I see it keep going, and I'm like, all right, tons of sellers. You can see tons of sellers at 19, but 19 is not cracking. At least not yet. And then the bid moves back up above 19. So I'm thinking, is it gonna bounce at 19? Maybe it's gonna bounce at 19. 0.192 is battling. We're seeing some more green prints in here. Still some big sellers though. But now we see a ton of shares printing. Look at all that volume. I mean, a ton of shares, 200,000, 100,000. Now we uptick and I'm thinking, all right, this might be the bounce. So I got to get in. And this is on me because again, like I didn't want to miss this, and this is FOMO. This is fear of missing out, which ultimately screws you over as a trader. So I think I got in this one, and you can see it can't crack 20 again. And it ends up absolutely rejecting. I'm filled at 0.197. And then it just absolutely rejects. Massive sellers come in, got 300 something thousand. So right now I'm negative on the trade. Not a good feeling. And it's going back down. So if it cracks 19, I gotta get out. That's my rule. And bam, printing 19, I'm like, shoot, I gotta get out. But I didn't have this thing filled out. That's a rookie mistake. So I try to sell it at 19, but at this point it's too late. By the time I actually get it filled out, it's already under. No way I'm getting out at 19 now. You see it's 0.183. This thing went all the way down to 16. So hopefully that helps you guys. It double bottomed at 16, and that's why that was a good buy there. But if you look at like the day chart, like it could have kept going down to 10. So that's the reason I cut there. And I just wish I had more buying power, because 16 really would have been a good buy. And if you bought there, you could have made a nice bounce all the way up to, I think it was 22 from 16. So again, hopefully this was helpful for you guys, just seeing the live price action. Anyways, yeah, guys, that is it for today. I'm done trading for today. Again, I used all my buying power, but I hope these lessons were helpful for you to, see my thought process and hopefully, give you some perspective on this stock, especially if you're super, super bullish long term. Like, it might not make sense to hold through 40% drops when you can sell and then get back in. So that's just my thought on it. Hopefully it helps. And yeah, I talk about stocks in a lot of my videos. So subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a thumbs up. Turn on the notification bell, because people don't do that anymore. And I post some videos that are kind of time sensitive. So if you want to be the first one to know, again, turn on that notification bell. But yeah, I think that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, let's grow better together. You know the drill. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.